Welcome to the R.E.S.T movement, where we release every single thing. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the R.E.S.T movement podcast. I am your host, Renee Young Blake, the Nugget Dropper, and I am so glad you're here. If you're new here, this is your safe space to reset, reboot, reload, and restore. Today, we're answering the question, what does REST really mean? The acronym, release every single thing. And I'm here to help you get beyond those 4 words, one step at a time. I'm here to show you how releasing every single thing saved my life like I know it can yours. This episode is entitled Lighten the Load, Live Free. This episode is going to help you drop the bag, okay? It's going to help you drop the bag of burdens that you've been carrying, drop the luggage, drop all the things that you've been shouldering. That's what this episode is all about, and I'm so glad you've joined me. By the end of this episode, you'll have some actionable steps to start your process of healing, steps to help you stop carrying what God never asked you to carry, steps to help you release what's hindering you. It's time to stop hiding and remove the layers. It may feel uncomfortable, but I believe in you. You matter. Your voice matters. So let's get into it. I shared with you in the last episode a snippet of my beginnings, a little bit about who I am and my background. And so today we're going to go a little deeper. It's real important for us to explore and then consider how we've experienced or the things that we've experienced in our past, how they can affect our future progress, even our present progress. You were born on purpose, for purpose, and by design. And I don't care what anybody else has said. God said you were meant to be here. Listen, my mother said all of us were accidents. She ain't know I had to get here. I don't know about my brothers, but I had a space. I had work to do. I wasn't no accident. I was meant to be here. And so were you. So no, not only did I have to get here, but I have some things I gotta get done. So while I'm sharing my story, I hope a light will come on for you so that the light that I shine will lead you out of that hidden space. You have nothing to regret, nothing to be ashamed of. You have no reason to feel unworthy. You have no reason to believe you are not enough. So let my example help you. Again, I am the youngest of 5, the only girl, a certified, bona fide daddy's girl. I was called spoiled because when you didn't give me my way, or if you did something to me, I was famous for saying, I'm going to tell my daddy on you. Yeah, that's what I played. My youngest brother used to jack me up because I would always be telling on him. I'm going to tell daddy on you, not daddy, daddy. I'm going to tell daddy on you and get him in trouble. Listen, I even tried that mess on my mother, right? I told her that I was going to tell my daddy on her when she was jacking me up. And she said, I don't care. Tell your daddy. I'll spank both of y'all. My mother was gangster and she wasn't playing with me. But as a daddy's girl, I knew how to pour on the charm so I could get what I wanted out of my daddy. It felt wonderful as a child to have those kind of bragging rights. But how many know getting what you want? You might feel good for the moment, but it don't equal getting what you need. After all, I was just a child. I ain't know no better. I ain't know nothing. But I didn't help me to realize that I was missing something. And it wasn't until I got older that I saw that there was holes in my story because there were things that I needed that I didn't get because I was always asking for what I wanted. And what I realized I needed was the cheat code. I needed a cheat code so it could help me with avoiding some of the turmoil that I went through, some of the trials I went through, some of the tribulations and trauma. But like many of you, I grew up in a home in a generation where deep conversations just didn't happen. I don't know whether they were avoiding them or they just didn't know that they were needed. I think that it was probably more or maybe a little bit of them both. Some things they didn't want to address, some things they didn't even know to address. I don't blame my parents. I don't blame them at all. They were wonderful parents. They gave us the best of what they had to give and what they knew to give. My parents loved us fiercely. They provided for us. They protected us. They kept us together, even into adulthood, doing things together all the time. They kept us with them through our marriages and raising of their grandchildren. But when your mental and emotional wellness is not nurtured, it creates functioning at a disadvantage. You understand? It doesn't give you what you need so that you are functioning in a good space. And so just to give you, before I can unpack my story, I need to unpack and give you a picture of my parents' story. It'll help you understand what I began to understand, because oftentimes we don't see our parents as humans. We don't see them as men and women who have their own story. We don't see them as men and women who have their own experiences. All we see them as is our heroes, and sometimes we see them as our villain. Either way, we don't see them always as human. We just see them as the one that's supposed to provide for us, take care of us, be there when we're asking for things. And so I want to give you the picture that I didn't get. That picture may have been painted for me, but I didn't see the beauty of that story. I didn't see even the experience that my parents had while I was actually in it. But after the fact, in this space of healed self, I now see what I didn't see then. And I'm hoping that this will help you begin to look at your own story so that you can begin the healing process. My parents married had met, it was either 6 or 8 months after they met. They were introduced and set up by my mother's sister-in-law, her brother's wife. And this particular brother was 17 years older than my mother, I believe. So even my mother, with the space that I have between my brothers and I, my mother even had a greater space with some of her siblings. I think her oldest sister was 19 years older than her. And so my mother's brother's wife, her sister-in-law, and my dad's oldest sister, they put together this little thing where they were going to introduce them so that, because they thought that they would be a good hookup. Matchmaking, but it worked because they was hanging in there for a long time until death do they parted. They stayed together. But anyway, they were married, and before they could even blink their eye good, my mother was pregnant. They were pregnant with their first child. A baby girl, Deborah Lorraine, was born, and 2 weeks later, she passed away. I remember when I was old enough and found out I had a big sister, I had questions. My mother told me that she died after 2 weeks from toxemia. I remember my mother telling me she knew something was wrong with her baby by the way she was crying. She knew something had to be wrong, but nobody listened to her. Listen, and then back then, they didn't have Google. Today, I don't know why I didn't think of it before now, but before I recorded this episode, I decided to look up what toxemia means. Toxemia is present day preeclampsia. It's a very common thing that most women know about, which means my mother had symptoms before she even delivered my sister. She had to have symptoms, but nobody listened to her. My mother could have died giving birth. She was a Black woman in the 50s. No extraordinary measures were going to be done for her. She was young. Nobody listened to her. Neither did she know her voice mattered. So she couldn't even advocate for herself the way she should have. No one attended even to her pain. Can you imagine the trauma that caused? Can you imagine the trauma with no space to grieve, no one to guide you through the grief process? Most people were just encouraging her to get through her loss, but nobody really helping her deal with that loss. No space, no time to grieve. Why? 5 months later, she was pregnant again. For the first 5 years of marriage, my mother had babies back to back. By the time she was 23, she had birthed 4 children, including my sister who passed away. My 4th brother was then born 2 years after that. So here she is with 2 children at 20. She had 1 child 3 days after she turned 22. Then she had a child at 23. She had a child at 25. Then she thought she was done. And 7 years later, here I come. So at 31, here I was. I'm sure she thought she was done. I'm sure she thought she was done. But here, her greatest challenge showed up. This challenge called a little girl. It was the greatest challenge she had had. She had to become the mother to a girl. For years, I said, my mother ain't know how to deal with me. She had been raising boys. But now in hindsight, as in an older age, I realized it was even more than that. Besides the thrill of having me, did she have fear? Because her first and only experience with a girl was death. Was her emotions fluctuating between excitement and fear? Did it lead her to grieve all over again? What did she feel? Did her faith make her ignore her inner turmoil? Did her faith make her mask fear instead of talking about it? I'm sure it did. They weren't talking about that. And women are still doing that today. In this day and time, women are still hiding behind fears, behind judgment, and all these other things. It's the reason God birthed this movement in me. It's the reason why we're here, the reason why I'm here. It's the reason God has placed this fire in me to help those beyond my physical reach. You are the reason I've showed up in this space. And I hope you are the reason that you'll come back again and again so that we come and we build together and we grow together. So when I truly unpacked my mother's story, my story makes more sense. She couldn't have known what I needed because she never had time to even breathe to know what she needed. She couldn't know what I needed with all the trial and errors she was having raising boys. And then 7 years later, here I come, her greatest challenge of all, her mini me. Her mini me would reflect things that she would rather hide than let others see flowing, but it was flowing out of me. Me, a girl with hormones like hers, moods like hers, invalidations like her, being Black and a female like her. I learned to suppress what I was feeling for the sake of other people's happiness, just like her. I learned to be fearful of other people's judgment and opinions, just like her. I got to grow up under the microscope of church women like her. But God taught me to flip the script, turn the paper over and write a new script on the other side, write a different story so that I could lead other women who have not yet found their light so they can find their voice by my story and by me helping them write out theirs. So her story isn't strange among women. Many of us learn the same thing, maybe even the same way. So my mother's story is no different than yours. My mother's story is no different than mine. The only difference is my mother didn't have our community. She didn't have the Nugget tribe to give her a safe space to amplify the voice hiding deep within her. My mother didn't know how to talk about her feelings. Who taught her? My grandmother. My grandmother with her mother of 10. Who taught her? The pastors' wives who would teach her how to be a first lady, how to support her man, how to live in his shadow with a small voice. When I was born and began to grow up, not only did she not know how, she didn't even have time to really figure it out. Fortunately, though, it took me some time to take hold of this opportunity, the opportunity to become different, to become become what God wanted me to become, to see all of my experiences as opportunities to grow. Because what God allows is an opportunity to become better, not bitter. So I can't be mad at my past. In fact, I'm glad. I'm wiser and stronger because of it. He knew I would be right here leading a community of women so that we can continue to grow together. That I would be able to lead a group of women who are ready to release every single thing. He knew that I would be the woman who would teach you how to flip the script on the devil so you could write the story that God always intended for you to write. I may have picked up the baggage that wasn't mine, collecting baggage from my mother's story, but I dropped the bag. Come on, hold your hand up. Drop the bag. Lighten the load. Live free. I dropped the bags I carried that belonged to my mother. Now I'm going to share for you the bags that I started carrying on my own. Because remember, my grandmother had bags. My mother carried some of her bags. My mother collected some of her own bags. Then I wound up picking up bags that weren't mine. And then over time, I started collecting my own bags. So I'm hoping as I've unpacked some of my mother's story, then now unpacking mine will help you even more. So I watched my mother serve my dad, and I watched him take care of her and provide for her. I didn't understand this caring for one another was reserved for marriage. I became a wife type to men who were not my husband. I didn't speak up. I didn't set boundaries. Even my friendship with women was no different. I was hurt. I was stabbed in the back so many times by so-called friends because I didn't know how to communicate effectively, or I didn't know how to simply walk away when relationships or friendships didn't really serve me. Over the years, it led to unhealed pain. It led to me carrying unspoken pain. This emotional suppression eventually showed up in my body, forcing me to no longer hide. I was forced to get up. I was forced to get up and fix it. I was forced to get up and fix me. Unfortunately, in going to doctors for what my body was talking about or what my body was speaking, the only help that I got from them was the kind of help that was treating a symptom, but never really going to the root of the problem. The problem was stress resulting from unhealed wounds. So I'm here sharing my story because I don't want this to be you. Sharing my story because if it's already you, I want you to know it's never too late for you to heal. If you're watching this episode, it means it's the right time for you. Because I believe in God's providence. He would not have had you to stumble across this podcast episode. He wouldn't have allowed you to click on it. He wouldn't have allowed you to come here because you saw an invitation from me on social media. So the fact that you are here, the fact that you are watching it at this time, I believe it is your time to begin to unpack, drop the bags, discard, get rid of things that no longer serve you. So now let's talk about how did I get here? I'm glad you asked. He told me to rest. He told me to release every single thing. Release everything. The release every single thing movement. That's what this is. To release means to set free. You hear that? Set free. It doesn't escape free. It doesn't get rescued free. You have to set it free. What do you have to set free? You have to set free your hurt. You have to set free your pain. You have to set free your abuse. You have to set free your abandonment, set free your trauma, set free your loss, set free your burdens, set free the person who hurt you, set free the person who caused you pain, set free the person who abused you, set free the one who left you, set free the one who caused you trauma, set free the one who walked away, set free the child in you who is waiting and needs to be healed, needs to be set free, and only you can do it. Release. Set it free. Set free every single thing. That's what this movement is all about. That's why we're here. That's why the Nugget Tribe is ready. The Nugget Tribe wants to receive nuggets to help heal, help reset, help reboot, help reload, help restore. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. God's arms are still open. He's still open, wanting to take it away from you. But you've got to set it free. You've got to let it go. You've got to release it. So I'm going to give you in brief 4 steps. 4 steps to help you release. Step 1, I need you to reset. You have to identify what is no longer working for you. You have to identify what's no longer serving you. You have to identify what's holding you back, what's stunning or stopping your progress, what the barriers are. What are the barriers? I don't need you to have a mini reset, that you can undo tomorrow. I need you to have the kind of resetting that keeps you from being stuck. Because the mini MINI reset, that allows you to undo it tomorrow. And that's how we stay stuck. And we're not staying stuck no more. That's not what we're all about. We're getting unstuck. Okay? Listen, I know it's hard. I do know that. I know it can be a lot. I do know that. That's why I'm here. I'm here to walk you through. Okay? You ready? All right. So the next step after we reset, step number 2 is reboot. Reboot means to restart. It's the refreshed you after the reset clears out all the things. After the reset clears out all the stuff, like, the system restart, you need God to clear out the corrupted processes. Rebooting takes time. You don't always see the cleanup happening, but you know that there's something happening. When a computer is rebooting, it always tells you to wait. Don't push no buttons. Don't touch nothing. Just like that, we need God to let go and let God handle what he needs to handle. Your input, your portion was pressing the button to reset. That was your part. Because when you physically push the reset, you are letting God know that you're ready. You're ready for him to reboot. You're ready for him to clean out all of the things that you don't need, the things that haven't been serving you, the things that have interrupted what he's been trying to do in you, for you, through you, for others to be able to take from you what God has purposed for you to be blessed as you are blessed, for you to be a blessing. So after you reboot, then we reload. So that's number 3, reload. Now the things have been removed. God has cleared them out. There's now room for things to be put back in. So God is able to put in truth. He's able to put in tools. He's able to help you create boundaries, create new habits, and be a part of a wise community. When the screen says don't turn off the power, that's your cue to be still. The computer will tell you as it is beginning to reload. What does it tell you? Don't touch it. Don't do nothing. Don't mess up what is being reloaded. I'm doing something special. That's exactly what God is saying to us. When the screen says don't turn off the power, when the screen says don't turn off the power, it is God saying there is power in you. I don't need you to touch a thing. That's your cue just to be still so that I can reload what is needed in you. Let God load what's next. He knows what's best for you. And let me tell you, the reload can be a lengthy process. I want you to understand it this way. When the computer is reloading, you'll see 5% and you'll see 10% pop up. Then all of a sudden it speeds up a little faster. You see 30, 40, 50%. All of a sudden you see 90%. You tired of waiting and you're happy that the 90% finally came, until you find out that 90% was just the first part of the fix. That 90% was just the first part. So here we are starting back over again, because now after 90, you see 5%. You're like, how in the world I go from 90 to 5%? Because God still wasn't done. Many of us have so many layers to be healed. We don't need to rush the process. You gotta be patiently waiting. And how you wait is just as important as waiting. You don't want the waiting to become a weight. You don't want the weight to become a burden. You have to know that when God reloads back in you, you have to know that when God gives you what you need so that you can walk into the next step, which is restore. That's number 4. Number 4 is restore. Restoration is a process, not a moment. It's not a moment, because just think about, the enemy has been scrambling things up, been messing things up, but here God has come to reorder and to set things back in order. What the enemy was trying to shame you with, the name he gave you in shame, God is coming back to rename you, reclaim you back to what you had been when he created you. God will now call you by the right name. It reminds me of the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and now their names escape me. They were renamed, but their names were something else. Why is that escaping me right now? But look it up in the word. That wasn't their name. They were taken into captivity and given another name, and that's what the enemy has done. He has caused all types of things to happen in your life to give you a name that God didn't give you. It's another bag to carry. We carry all these designer bags around. We got a designer bag called guilt, a designer bag called shame, a designer bag called unforgiven, a designer bag called not enough. All these designer bags, not pretty, not smart. All these designer bags we carrying around. And God is telling us today, drop the bag. Sometimes God has to reach back so far because we've carried so much. He's got to reach back so far to pull the real you through. And that takes time. I want you to know that you are worth the time that it takes. There is no shame in needing to start anew. There's no shame in having to start over. There's no shame in having to reset. There's no shame to having to shift. Age is really just a number. I can tell you, year after year, you get a year older, but if you're getting a year older and still unhealed, it's just getting older. It doesn't equal getting wiser. I hear that all the time. People talk about the older you get, the wiser you get. No, it's just like people saying, when you know better, you do better. No, many of us know better, but we don't do better. It's when you know better and you choose better that you can be better. And so I don't want you to allow the enemy to make you think because you 60, 70, 50, 40, 90, 100. But if you're still carrying unhealed things, if you still have unhealed places in you, if you're still carrying a bag of burdens, today is the day to drop the bag. I don't want you to continue in this space unhealed. It's time to break the cycle of pain. It's time to drop the bag. So here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to get your pens, get your paper, get whatever it is you like to take notes with. I hope you've been taking notes all the time, but just in case, let's pause for a minute. Go get you something to write with. If your phone is nearby, grab your phone. I need you to take these notes. What I want you to do, I want you to first name one bag that you're going to put down. One bag. You know what it is. One bag. The bag is symbolic of the burdens or the weight that you've been carrying. You decide which one you want to start with. I can't tell you. Only you know what you need to start with. It's like, somebody want to pay a credit card debt. You have some people who will pay the card off that has the highest interest rate. And then some people will look at it and say, nah, I want to pay the one that has the lowest balance. Get it out the way. I could pay it off much sooner. Then there are those who choose to pay the one with the highest balance because they want to get the biggest debt out of the way first. It's just your preference. It's your choice. But I want you to choose the one that is causing you the greatest pain. Choose the bag that is causing you the greatest pain. It doesn't mean it's a bag you've been carrying around for 20 years. It could be a bag that you've gotten last week, but it's the one that has been shutting you down. It is the one that has been hindering you. It is the one that you can't sleep at night. That's the bag that I want you to grab. That's the bag that I want you to decide today that you are going to drop it. No longer are you going to carry it. The second thing I want you to do is to choose one reset, one that is tiny, meaning it's small enough, but it's true. It doesn't have to be dramatic, because sometimes we can be dramatic, but it could be as simple as just turning off notifications. It could be as simple as starting to journal. It could be as simple as calling a friend and somebody who you can share with and will hold you accountable, a friend that will help you shift every single thing. That's your tiny. For it to be true, it needs to be authentic and not be forced. And please, 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 and please again, don't try to reset your whole life today. I mean, come on. You heard me unpack my mother's story. You heard me unpack my story. So you got to know this takes time. But the greatest thing you can do is to start. And that's what I'm hoping you'll do. To try to reset your whole life, it's not going to do anything but cause you to get overwhelmed. And when we get overwhelmed, what do? We give up. We are in this to win it. We are in it to win it. So pick one small true step you can actually follow through. Step number 3, I want you to schedule one still block. One still block. What do I mean? This is the practice of blocking out intentional stillness. You hear what I'm saying to you? Intentional stillness. Yeah, you're real good at being busy. You're real good at multitasking. You're real good at taking care of everybody, but you're not real good at taking care of yourself. You're not real good at taking some me time. You're just not. I don't know if I make my family laugh at me or irritated or what, but when I go in the bathroom, I'm always in there a long time. It's the one place I can hide until they think, "Did you all right in there?" Yeah, I'm all right. And that is so used to me going in there and not coming out until 10, 15 minutes later. No matter what I went in there to do, it's somehow I'm in there for longer because it's the one place that I can find my still time with nobody bothering me, nobody coming to ask me questions. Although this little granddaughter likes opening the door and not knocking, but it's still the one still blocked time that I can always get at any time of the day. Yes, I have my time in the morning, my worship time that I'm up before everybody else, my study time that I'm up before everybody else gets up, my workout time that I'm up. But then there are times when I just need to carve out a block of time and just practice intentional stillness. For you, I want you to literally get in your mind carving out 15 minutes in the day where you shut it all off. You shut off the phone, no TV, no multitasking. You sit in silence, you pray, you breathe, you journal, but it's creating a space, a sacred space to reset. It's a sacred space so that you can listen to God, you can hear the voice of God and reset your spirit and get your soul under control. We're spirit beings walking around having a human experience. Our spirit communing with the Father. You need that time so that your spirit can communicate. Getting your soul under control is so super important because your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotion. You have to get that under control. You can't do that if you don't carve out time to make it happen. So I want you to do that. So here's your nugget for today. Release what isn't yours to carry so God can restore what is. Let's go back over what I want you to do. I want you to identify one bag, pick one small, true reset, schedule stillness so you can release what isn't yours to carry so God could give you what is. There you go. All right, you got it. I want you to identify one bag, Pick one small true reset, schedule stillness so you can release what isn't yours to carry so God can restore what is. If this blessed you, I want you to share it with at least one friend who needs to hear drop the bag, who needs to hear you don't have to carry that bag anymore, who needs to hear that wasn't what God wanted you to carry. I want you to share this with one of your friends. You can even share with an enemy. We all need to grow. We all need some help. We all need to help one another. So don't forget to like this episode. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed so you can become a part of the Nugget Tribe. I want you to leave a review and then go to my website, ReneeYoungBlake.com. When you go to my website, I want you to grab my free ebook on resetting. It's your guide to reset. You'll see a little circle on the website that says get reset free. I think that's what it says. Click on that. You'll know it when you see it. Click on that. It will open up to the free ebook. This book will help you start the process of resetting. Whether you decide to print it out or just read it and take notes from it, whatever way you choose to use it, go to my website and grab hold of it. Not only is that there, but on my website, you'll be able to read my nuggets from the month that comes from my book that it's on its way. I want you to go and I want you to get the nuggets off there, get the encouragement you need, leave a comment even on there, make recommendations for topics that you want talked about. But right now we need to focus on our resetting. So I want you to do this. It's your first step to your freedom, first step of unpacking, first steps of resetting so that God can reboot, reload, and restore. And guess what? I'll be right here next Friday waiting on you for Freedom Fridays. And I hope you'll come back. And don't just come by yourself. Let somebody else come back with you. Tell somebody else about our Nugget Tribe. And I believe that God will set us all free. So let us pray. Father, thank you for inviting us to release every single thing. Give us courage to reset. Give us patience, God, to reboot. Give us wisdom to reload, Father, and faith to receive your restoration in Jesus' name. God bless you. You've just been nuggeted by Renee Young Blake, the Nugget Dropper, and I'll see you next Friday. Thank you for watching the R.E.S.T Movement Podcast. Remember, keep breathing, keep believing, keep becoming. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. See you next Friday.